and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Nerd Chronicles. This is your host, Proud Lame, Certified Beta Male, Simba and John, whatever it is, no game. The socially awkward nerd, Christian Paul, speaking at your service. This following episode contains graphic content that could be uncomfortable to some viewers, that could be like disheartening, not safe for work, that type of ordeal. It could offend some viewers in some way without any intent at all. It could be strong language. It could be basically strong graphic scenes, however it may be. There will be an E that's actually placed onto the top label up on the YouTube set, and it can basically require either viewers for a minimum 13 up, or in some cases, depending on YouTube's policy, it could be 18 up or however it may be. Please take notice before we get on with the presentation. Alright, viewer discretion advised. Now let's get back to the video.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today to see which of these three gentlemen, will be the most primal of them all. We have the champion, Patricky Pitbull. We have the king of eating raw meat, Liver King. We have the super chat, Burachina, Paulo Costa, top UFC middleweight. Ladies and gentlemen, they are eating 1 pound of liver. When the schmo says go, we start this thing. And 3, 2, 1, go! Go, Patricky!
Cuidado pra ninguém
Bora, Mila!
Very good.
Bora!
Cuidado pra ninguém cair.
Let's go!
Cuidado pra ninguém
Oh man.
Oh my god. Aí começou aqui.
It's not to look bad, but
Aí, here we go. Bora, Baratinha.
let me get this sauce.
Bro, what the fuck, get out of here?
I will get this sauce. Oh my god.
Let's go, Paulo. Come on, I know you can deal with blood. Let's
Are
go.
you drinking that? Man.
Bora, Patrick. Come on, Patrick. You can do it. Let's go, champ. Hey, move.
The secret juice.
Strong. Let's go, BLF. Right. Right, Paulo. Send that man to the sangue.
No.
Afraid of blood? Let's go.
No.
Get it all over you. Acho que tem que tirar sua camiseta também. Might have to take that shirt off. It's about to get dirty. It's about to get bloody.
I'll get you Deixa eu provar o pra ver.
He's not beating. He's not beating.
There we go.
That was a pump.
All right, bro.
Patrick's in the lead.
Ai.
Oh my god.
Let's go, Patrick.
Vamos, Raginha. Vai assistir o cara comer, brother? Bora. Cuidado.
Let's go, baby.
Você vai chegar.
Come on, baby. Vai. Vai, Paulo.
Eu tô vendo.
Tô aqui beijando aqui.
No seu peito, na sua cabeça.
I cannot. Look this.
And still!
You did great. You did great. Oh my god. Look at my shorts.
Let me take some of yours.
Congrats. Try this. Congrats, man. Oh my god. This guy is an animal. like a dog.
The undisputed champion of liver! The Liver King! Let's hear it for me! Do you see? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Nerd Chronicles. Okay, this is your host, right? Proud Lane, certified beta male sim main John, whatever it is, with no game, right? The O to the Liver King, as you can see here. Okay? The subprimal, socially awkward nerd is in the building, and his name is Christian Paul. Boom! Alright? And y'all, man, I tell you, man, I just got off like a 2-mile walk after dealing with like heavy pumping iron with like a whole week. Basically trying to be the wannabe Liver King here, who's very obese, mind you. So we're gonna do the ode to Liver King with the shirtless off and all this stuff, you know, taking the shit off as an ode to him, or ode to the ancestral tenets. As we may know, the 9 essential tenets. We got sleep, eat, run, play, lick, feast, party, drink, right? What else? Ground, pound. I don't know if it's 9 or 10. I don't even know, right? So we trying to feed on the ancestral tenets so that we could wannabe Liver Kings, right? And what the obese Liver King is here to literally discuss is all this craziness you see up here. We found out that the real Liver King, if you will, is currently kind of find out they had like emails leaked by a personal trainer that at least scooped up all the deets. Maybe he was a bit pissed off at what went down in between him behind the scenes. A bit unprofessional, might I add, but I digress. You know, very unprofessional in that way. But anyway, right? Email came out there for more place, more dates, actually exposed Liver King dealing with like steroid usage and everything, and lying to the fans over the past couple of months. And for more information regards, he seems to have a bunch of people up in the fitness industry that actually will discuss in this whole space and all these things and the whole steroid usage and the risk of it. But I digress on that as well. But my thing with this whole other deal, how Liver King literally blew up big, I tell y'all, it's like all these animal body parts, all these animal organs that he keeps eating, man and raw, you know, raw testicles, raw liver, raw lungs, raw organs, however it be, from animals, mind you, that he slices and hunts, that he has his own farm, that he built up with his wife and kids back up home, you know, up in the countryside ever. There's all these old school ancestral workouts, really trying to hunt for prey and go walk miles, small miles in with like heavy lifting and all this other stuff, so that's to try and build the persona. You know what I mean? That's how you see a lot of folks really try to spike up and try to follow his following. Similar to like what Fresh and Fit is done with the whole Frank Castle, with the women's situation up there. More folks are following on that. Kevin Samuels really checking a bunch of women, like coming through the whole space, giving them ratings and everything. A lot of people following on that. Sneeko, you know what I mean, does like a bunch of crazy, controversial shit, having me beat, going insane. People have been start following him for years. Andrew Tate, he can be extremely controversial on certain topics that he says that a lot of people may not agree with. That is just, they may feel is a bit abnormal or out the touch. And because you have people literally trying to pussy algorithms, that's how he exploded. And the one constant that I really want to discuss with you guys, ladies and gentlemen, is an unfortunate, sad truth, right? Now, what I've learned, right, when dealing with the social media space, like, LinkedIn is very easy because you get to be straight to the point and be strictly professional. But when it comes to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, right, whole different ball game. Yes, you gotta be very professional, and if you have like a following with you before, and they literally hold you down on all these other social media sites, and especially up in the public, and you know what you do, more than likely the transition will definitely be easier that way, due to the fact that they will actually be able to follow you. Or if you actually starting from the ground up, all the way from the bottom up, unfortunately it's going to be a bit more difficult unless you add in a bit of controversy that actually involves it. And that's really the unfortunate part, right? Controversy always sells in many cases. Either when you do like a bunch of controversial stuff, like eating stuff that's like extremely abnormal, or you do something that's very extraordinary that no one else has ever done, or you analyze someone doing some very controversial things, and you you try to actually give like a deep analysis behind the scenes, and that to describe something that's very intellectual, right? And that's how these views end up really skyrocketing all over the place. Now, is it guaranteed that it's gonna work? We don't know, but sometimes you're in luck, sometimes you're not in luck. But in this day and age, when it comes to social media, where everyone's really going at it for clout and all that stuff, you know, you got controversy literally selling, and then you got, you know, grifters, and, you know, I forgot the word what it was. Charlatans, I forgot the words. I forgot the word. I'll get back to you later. But you got grifters, right? They'll basically come around and say, "Oh, buy my product, otherwise you'll lose," and go to the utmost extreme. You know, if we really try to buy in the controversy that they do, and that's what he did with that peak fall, right? Controversy always sells, even if, you know, the influencer that you rely on, the influencer that you actually deal with and you follow and you buy their products, come to find out they actually expose themselves as lies in due time. And even then, right, unfortunately in that case, a lot of people will still hold them down due to the fact they actually embody themselves in him and they live right through that character, just because they don't even have the guts to really think for themselves, right? So that's the one concept that I mainly learned out this whole ordeal. Controversy always sells, right? Whether I watch either the influencer doing the controversy, or the influencer analyzes someone else doing the controversy, or the influencer does something extraordinary or out of the ordinary that actually wows a lot of people and really spreads and goes off like crazy all over social media. So this is one of the crazy things that I've learned in this whole space. But you got to be careful with the controversy part, though, right? Because if you get through all this controversy to extreme that could go beyond the social media guidelines, there could be a very strong chance that your ass get canceled and you could be a victim of cancel culture, right? So I'm just gonna leave it at that for now. I know I got like a lot more stuff I want to try and dig into when it comes to, oh shoot, I forgot the word. Yeah, charlatans. That's the one. Charlatans. That's another word for grifters, right? So I'll discuss more about the charlatans and actually trying to make sure you discern thorough judgment, like who you listen to, who you watch, who you follow, and all those things. I'm gonna dig more of that stuff in like another video, because right now it's getting a little bit late. I don't want to try to spend too much time on this. But always remember the number one thing: controversy always sells. I'm gonna leave it at that. You know, I just gave birth up in the toilet literally minutes ago, and now after dealing with like a 2-mile long walk, right? Homeboy here is literally gonna hit the sack. Actually, not really hit the sack. He's gonna have like a good short bath and shower, and then go hit the sack. Prepare himself for the World Cup tomorrow morning. All right, so let me get up out of here. You know, Chris Paul for the Nerd Chronicles, the obese liver king, the subprimal, who is still giving birth a bit, signing out. Deuces.